Hello everyone, I'm Kathy Powers, Superintendent with the Twinsburg City School District. Welcome to Twinsburg Schools Today. You know, usually on our shows we have two segments, but today I have such great news to share with our community that we're going to spend the entire show talking about Samuel Bissell Elementary School and its recent designation as a 2016 National Blue Ribbon School. With me today is Mrs. Misty Johnson, Principal. Welcome, Misty.
Thank you, Mrs. Powers. Very happy to be here today.
And I'm glad that you're here too. And also Mr. Scott Winters, who is our Assistant Principal at Bissell.
Hi, Ms. Powers. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Well, I'm so delighted to have both of you on the show. We just returned from Washington, D.C., and I was so excited about scheduling an opportunity for you to come on the show and talk a little bit about what happened in Washington, D.C., and all this great news about Samuel Bissell Elementary School. So, Mrs. Johnson, why don't you begin by telling our audience a little bit about what it means to be a National Blue Ribbon School?
Well, it's very exciting. Let's start with that statement first, because to be recognized by the Ohio Department of Education and to be put in a category with 329 schools across the nation is absolutely amazing. And so when you think about being named the 2016 National Blue Ribbon School, you can only jump for joy to really be recognized by the state, be recognized by the nation, and have the opportunity for teachers' hard work to be recognized and the dedication that they put forth for students to be recognized, and absolutely for those students' performances to be recognized is just a wonderful thing. So we're very excited about that distinction. It's something that really sets us apart from many schools, and we're very happy to have been recognized and noticed by the Ohio Department of Education as a exemplary performing school.
So you mentioned 329 across the nation, and I think there were 9 or 11 in Ohio?
There were 9 from Ohio,
Right.
279 public schools and 50 private schools that were recognized on the November 7th and November 8th of this year. And to be able to just network with people from as far as Hawaii and Alaska to some of our neighbors in Pennsylvania and close by in Aurora as well as Solon. But just to network with people across the nation and to hear about what they're doing as well as sharing what Samuel Bissell Elementary School is doing was just a fantastic experience.
So public schools aren't able to just apply themselves. There's a process behind this whole nomination situation. So, Mr. Winter, can you talk to us a little bit about the application process? What happened behind the scenes to ultimately end up being a Blue Ribbon School?
Sure. So this all started actually back last school year when we actually received word that we were nominated to be a National Blue Ribbon School. And once we got the nomination, then the process started of the application.
So the nomination came from the Ohio Department of Education.
Correct. And then what we did was we put a team together. We put an application team together because it's a very extensive application. You know, you're talking about not only the academic piece of the building, but you're talking about social and emotional services that you offer. You're talking about extracurricular activities. You're talking about the arts. And, you know, the application really gives a true picture of what your school is. So we had members on our team who are intervention specialists and who are art teachers, who are gym teachers, classroom teachers, and all of us came together to put a really comprehensive application together, which we later submitted to the Department of Education. And also the inclusion of district level personnel who came and helped us as well. Mrs. Farthing, you, Mrs. Slattery, everyone working together as a team, to kind of show the National Department of Education that Samuel Bissell is worthy of being a Blue Ribbon School.
So the process started last school year then, basically.
Yes.
Absolutely. So just to piggyback off of what Mr. Winter was saying, because the whole point at the end of the day was to provide any and everyone who was looking at these schools a true picture the full picture of what Samuel Bissell Elementary School is about, from the beginning to the end of the school day. What does that feel like? What is it like to be a participant at that school, or at our school, I should say? And what is it like every day for a student in our building? And we had to communicate that through words in that application form, so that the Ohio Department of Education, as well as at the federal level, they were able to get a true picture of what Samuel Bissell Elementary School was all about.
So you wrote the application. It sounds like it was a very comprehensive document.
Yes.
Lots of input from many, many people.
Yes.
The Ohio Department of Education, of course, had their hand in it in the nomination process. And then you got word that you were a National Blue Ribbon School. What happened next at your building?
It was so exciting. We were receiving emails back and forth, not really telling us that we were selected, but kind of prepping schools in for the process of what that looks like. And when we got the actual email that said, you are a 2016 National Blue Ribbon School, of course, Mr. Winter and I kept that hush-hush because we were going to share that great news with the entire school. We didn't want to be the only two who really celebrated in this whole process. So what we did was we got together and we thought it would be a great idea to figure out how we can do a videotape of this actual nomination process taking place for the entire school. So one of the things that the Ohio Department of Education, one of the things that at the federal level, what they did was they put together an opportunity for schools to actually hear from the U.S. Secretary of Education, John P. King Jr., and he was actually given words of celebratory words and just congratulating all of the schools. And they then scrolled on the TV. They scrolled the names of the school. So we thought it would be a great idea to have everyone involved, invite the students, invite the teachers. They didn't know at that point in time whether or not they would see our school because we didn't spoil it, we didn't tell anyone. So we invited them all into the gym and we told them that this was happening. And we put up a large screen and we let them listen to the entire segment. And the students were so smart. They began to look and listen, and they started looking at the states that were being shown on the screen. And they knew that Ohio was coming up shortly after those in New York, New Jersey, so on and so forth, and they knew it was coming. And they were so hopeful that they were going to see Samuel Bissell Elementary School. But if I could step back a moment, because part of that application process, we had to submit a picture of our school in action. And so that particular picture then was used as part of the scrolling of the schools that were being named as National Blue Ribbon. So when the students realized that Ohio was coming up next, they began to chant, Samuel Bissell, 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 and they were clapping and so excited. And when our school popped up on the screen, it was a roar that could blow the rooftop off of the building. It was so exciting.
I would say, and the funniest thing about that was, even though we knew, Misty and I knew, it was still really exciting.
It was so
even though we
exciting.
knew we were going to come up there, it was still really exciting. And to just see the excitement in the staff and in the kids, it just really you just brought it all home for us.
Absolutely.
And the hardest part was after we knew that we were going to get the recognition, but then to keep it kind of quiet was very difficult.
Very difficult.
Because daily, as it started to approach, folks would come in, so did you hear anything? Did you hear anything?
And did you get anything? Did they send you an email?
And for those who know me, I like to talk. And so it was very difficult to say, gosh, I haven't heard anything yet. I'm hoping to. So it was but what a great kind of, payoff to all the work that was put in and during the application process, but then to see the excitement on everyone's faces once it was announced, you know, kids and staff, and it was really just, it was really a wonderful day. One of the best days since I've been in Twinsburg. It was fantastic.
It was fantastic. It'll be a day that not only the staff and myself, Mr. Winter, that we will remember, but this will be the one day that all of our students will remember for forever. They'll be able to say, I was in the gym when they were named the 2016 National Blue Ribbon School. So it was so exciting, and they enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. It'll be something we always remember, and it'll be something that we use moving forward as we continue to do good things.
Right.
And
So we know that Samuel Bissell is a great place for kids. I mean, you walk in the front doors of your school and you just know it's a great place. But to receive this kind of recognition at the national level, and shortly after your news was out, we received recognition from many elected officials. Do you want to share a little bit about who was sending their greetings and congratulations your way too?
Absolutely. So we received, and we're very thankful for the many proclamations and the many certificates that we received. We had a special visit from Mrs. Painter Goffey, and she's a representative from the state school board. She's a school board member from the state. She actually came out to our school, and she walked around. She asked questions. She was able to visit classrooms. She wanted to see students in action. She wanted to see what is it about Samuel Bissell Elementary School that works, and if she could take some of that information back and share it with her colleagues. And so she was able to come in for practically half of a whole school day, where she went from class to class and she asked questions. She saw students working in their classrooms. She wanted to know about differentiation and how do we meet the needs of our students, and what kind of plans do we put in place to support students, to challenge students. And it was a great day. She was able to talk to teachers at the end of the day and ask some specific questions to the teachers and some of our staff, just to see and get an idea of what we do on a day-to-day basis to help and support our students. So I thought it was a great day. We also received, I don't want to take up all the time, but we also received we received many support from our support staff, from our Twinsburg Education Association, from our Twinsburg Support Staff Association. We received a certificate from Mayor Yates' office, and thank you very much for that as well. I'm thanking everyone. Congressman Joyce came out and took a picture at RBC as he was speaking with some of our students at RBC. We received from the Twinsburg Township. I mean, the list just continued from the Twinsburg Public Library, and I mean, just everyone in support from the community, in support of what Samuel Bissell had been named. I was just so very happy for our schools, and we were just so very thankful. And I'm sorry if I am forgetting anyone at this point, but
the village too.
And yes, and remind of it. Yes, absolutely, at the Board of Education meeting. So we are so very thankful. And again, I apologize if I'm forgetting anyone, but we're so very thankful for everyone who came out in support of us at the meeting, who came out to our school just to visit, and who just sent their congratulations to us by way of email, by way of phone calls. It has just really been something to celebrate and so exciting. And I'm still on cloud nine.
Right.
Mrs. Johnson, you mentioned that when Mrs. Painter Goffey visited Bissell, one of the things that she said is she wanted to know what the recipe was for your success. So what does make Samuel Bissell such a great place that has now earned such recognition both within our community and nationally as well? What are some things that, sets Samuel Bissell apart from other schools?
I think the way that we take the time to really get to know and understand our students. I think that when we are on the same page in everything that we do from start to finish, we really truly believe that Samuel Bissell Elementary School is a family. And so we focus everything around being a family and how do we make sure that our students' needs are met. So not only do we look at the academic data and we pay attention to where we need to intervene or where we need to challenge our students, but we also look on that other side of how important it is to fulfill the needs of our students, whether it be social, emotional, whether it be behavior, whatever it is that our students are in need of. We put a plan in place to support our students. And in doing so, we have different initiatives that we have that everyone buys into, from our cafeteria staff to our janitorial staff to our secretarial staff to our classroom teachers, and everyone buys into our mission. And we're about making sure that, and we say it every day, every day we talk about what our mission is, and our students are a part of that, and we say it every day. Every day we show respect to our school and one another. Through hard work and organization, we strive to reach our goals. We celebrate our achievements, and you can join in with me.
Take responsibility for our actions and our learning.
And this is something that we say and we believe in. And so we put programs in place that complements that mission that we believe in. From our GRIT initiative, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, to our Random Acts of Kindness initiative, to our Community of Caring. All this is centered around making sure that we are there to meet the needs of our students, to get to know our students, to know their story, to understand their story, and how that fits into our day-to-day work. And I think that is part of what sets us apart from some other schools that are out there working to make sure that their students their needs are being met as well.
Time and again I hear the phrase, know every child's story. Mr. Winter, what does that mean in your perspective?
So what that means is that, we can focus a lot on the academic piece, but it's not just the academic piece. It's what's happening at home. It's social and emotional. It's what needs does a particular student have? What's their strengths? What their weaknesses are? And connecting that student to any services that might be available. Any weaknesses that a child might have, giving them extra support in the classroom. If their families need any services, connecting them with those services. It's not enough to just know about someone as far as academically. There's so much more, to people than what they can write on a piece of paper. And so we work very, very hard to know everything that we possibly can know about that student, because that information is relevant into what we're seeing in the classroom. And there's any way we can, help out, we are more than willing. And quite honestly, that's our mission. Is to help our students succeed in any way possible. So it's talking with parents, it's talking with the kids, it's paying attention, to what you're seeing in the classroom. It's paying attention as kids are talking to you, so you can learn everything you possibly can know about them, because it's not just enough to know the academic needs, but there's so many more. There's so many more things to know about people. And so I think, I always say we're kind of in the people business. And so it's our duty to learn about these little guys and little girls as much as we possibly can to help them. And so I always say Bissell I always say it's always sunny at Bissell. Even when it's cloudy outside, it's always sunny, and it's all because of the folks we have there, from our staff to our parents to our students. I mean, everyone, as Mrs. Johnson said, is on the same page. And I think that's why we're where we're at today, as being recognized as National Blue Ribbon School.
Now, Mrs. Johnson, you mentioned something about grit. Mm-hmm. What does that mean, grit?
So for Samuel Bissell Elementary School, and our students will be able to tell you this as well, what grit means to us, just to give you an overview of even how we started grit. We start talking as a staff about how important it is for kids to understand that when they do their best, it's their best. No one else's best but their best. And what is your best? Do you, when you try completing some task, do you put forth your best effort, whatever your best is? And we talk about persevering and not giving up and sticking with it. And so our staff did a book study about grit, and we learned more about it. We started to look at the research behind grit. We started to have discussions about grit, and so we made grit our own. And so for us, grit stands for the G, give it your all. The R, respond with a positive attitude. The I, be an independent thinker. and the T is totally engaged in everything you do. And we look at this as a theme of our building because it's so important for students to know when you are trying and you are doing your best, that's all anyone can ask of you. And we stress that, and you find that our students, they will walk down and they will tell Mr. Winter and myself, I didn't give up today, Mrs. Johnson. I had this really hard problem and I stuck with it. And so we celebrate those efforts because we believe when students give their best, they are truly giving us everything they have to give. And so those are the things that we talk about every day. We talk about it on the announcements. Students earn grit tickets for doing their best. Teachers recognize it, staff recognize it. They write up a grit ticket. We announce it on the announcements, and then students get to come down and get a treat of their choosing. And then we hang it in the hallway because we're so proud of them doing their best every day and giving their all every day. And the reason why it's important for us to even put some independence in there when we say be an independent thinker, because what you have to offer, we can learn from. So we want you to know that you have something for us, just as we have something for you, and as we work together, we can make it better for both of us. So we talk about be that independent thinker. Share with us what you're thinking about. Share with us the way you solved a problem, because guess what? The way you solved it may help your neighbor. And so we talk about how important it is for everyone to be a part of that, because we can learn from one another.
Sounds a lot about building confidence in
Absolutely.
yourself and making the children feel good about who they are and what they're about.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Winter, one of the things I know that you're spearheading at Bissell is Community of Caring. What does that mean, the Community of Caring?
So the Community of Caring was a program that we started last school year. And basically what it is, you know, as Mrs. Johnson said earlier, we really feel like we're a family when we're away from our families. And so it's very important for us for our students to see themselves as a Samuel Bissell Elementary School family, as in we're all in this together, all of us, from the staff to the students, whether it's you know, janitors, custodians, secretaries, we are all kind of moving towards the same goal. And so what we learned was, you know, the kids know their classroom teachers, but they may not know the teacher down the hall. They may not know Mr. Van Meter, our custodian. They may not know Mrs. Dreiling, our secretary. So we've made this opportunity for students to all eat together from different classrooms and to get to know other adults in the building. So, you know, they may not identify necessarily the best with their own classroom teacher, but we want them to give them another adult in the school that they can turn to if they ever want to talk to somebody. But then the other benefit to that is they're also getting to know each other as students as well, because they're coming from different classrooms. And sometimes they only get a chance to see each other at lunch or recess. So this gives them another opportunity to build relationship with each other. And also at the same time, they're talking about different character traits. They're talking about making good choices at school. They're talking about responsibility and respect. And how does that look at Samuel Bissell? So that was last year's mission. So we're going to continue that this school year as well, but with adding, you know, now that the kids are starting to see themselves as part of the Samuel Bissell family, well, they're also a part of a greater community, as in the Twinsburg City Schools community. So we have administrators coming from other buildings, department heads, just so they can, you know, just so the kids can see that there are other people outside of Bissell that, you know, they can develop a relationship as well, because one day they will be going to Dodge and RBC and the high school. And if there's already a familiar face, you know, our kids remember, you know, I've been a part of the district for 14 years, and I'll have kids come up to me as seniors say, I remember when you talked to me when we were in second grade together. So the kids remember. So they'll remember this as well. And so we have a lot of really big plans for the Community of Caring program. You know, we're talking about expanding it to bringing community members in as well, so our kids can really start to see themselves as, you know, first school, then district, but now community, you know, at large. And, you know, the other benefit to it is, you know, it allows kids to talk and to build those relationships and how to interact with each other, which you know, which is still at our level, second and third grade, still emerging. And so, you know, there's so many benefits to it. And again, all of this kind of works all kind of together to always, I've said this before, but brings us to where we are today. Because everything, you know, from our academics to our social emotional piece to our, you know, arts, all of that, you know, just makes Bissell just fantastic.
Well, it certainly has been a wonderful month for you, and celebrating in Washington, D.C. this such an honor. And it's one of those moments in both of your careers and in mine too, where it takes the cake, I suppose, right? The very best. So what's next for both of you? What are you going to continue to do, and what are your dreams moving forward?
Well, that's a very good question. That was one of the questions that was posed at the networking session and presentation sessions in Washington, D.C. Of a previous National Blue Ribbon School principal, and she was speaking, and she said, "What is your next?" Which is a very good question, because the work that we do at Samuel Bissell is always changing and evolving, and so what are we doing next? And so we implemented for this school year a whole new another theme about our attitudes and where we go with our attitudes and having positive attitudes. I tell the students all the time, if you think it, you believe it. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And so we look forward to growing in just so many different ways and expanding to our community. We have community partnerships now that we are very proud of, and developing more as we go along, from working with the Cleveland Clinic and the Twinsburg Public Library, and Heinen's coming in, and working with the American Red Cross, and just continuing those efforts outside of Samuel Bissell, because the community makes up our district as well, and that's so important for us to play a role in that. And it's just seeing where our young people can just grow and continue to give back to the society and give back to the community is so important as well. So we are looking forward to continuing to grow in the initiatives that we are starting now, and expanding things like community of caring to not just district level but community level, and seeing where those things take us as well. Mr. Winter, I don't know if you want to add to that, but we look forward to to those opportunities.
I think the biggest thing is to just I don't want to just say keep doing what we're doing, but as Mrs. John said, just expand on what we're doing. Continue to grow. Because even as us as adults and educators, we need to continue to grow as well. And each year, new students do come into our building, which present different challenges as well. And so to meet those challenges, with a new group of students, because it always is changing every single year. So to do our best to, make kids with the end result being productive members of whatever community they choose to live in. That's just our ultimate goal as well. And so I think the future is very bright, and I'm excited. If there was a gold ribbon, I think we should go for that.
And also, I don't want to leave out how important it is to continue developing our relationships with the parents. Our PTA is just phenomenal at our building level, and the support that we have and the partnership that we have with them, and the things that we're able to do for our students is just so amazing. So to continue and evolve, and to include as many community members and opportunities that are out there is what we will be looking to do in the future.
Well, I thank you both for being a part of our show here at Twinsburg Schools today. It is such a great time at Samuel Bissell Elementary School and in the Twinsburg City School District. Thank you for your commitment, your visionary leadership. I'm so proud of both of you and all that you've done at our school.
Thank you very much.
You.
And on behalf of all of our Twinsburg Board of Education members and all of the members of our school community, we wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we hope to see you very soon at one of our many district events. Have a great day, everyone.